There's things you don't want to take risks with: center halves, goalkeepers, fullbackers. But like, I don't know. At some point, you have to shoot your shot, right?
Yeah.
And is it that unrealistic to think that we could bring players like that in if we overpay? We are positioned to be able to overpay for. I mean, would you pay the $45 million for Harvey Elliott?
No way. No
Why
way.
not?
It's a risk. It's a huge risk. He's been surrounded by Liverpool players his entire career. It's a huge risk. So no, like you just said, it needs to be tried and tested. Really, I mean, in terms of this is what I mean. This is what I've been trying to get through a lot of the time on the streams. I think styles make fights, and I think we've got to be really, really careful in terms of like players that we're targeting and the position that Leeds United are actually going to be in this season. Harvey Elliott, is he going to work in a relegation threatened team with the style of play that we're actually trying to encompass? Potentially, I don't know. Does he fit into?
But Conor,
is he an
do
out and
you
out?
think
Is he a 10? Harvey Elliott, is he a 10? I don't know.
You just
I know
said we don't have to do this, but think about this though: is a team with the defense we've just signed, with a sock in center midfield, with a Tanaka and an Ampadu, with Harvey Elliott and a big time striker we signed, is that really a relegation threatened team?
If you're talking,
that's what I'm saying. You have to make signings where you're like, actually, if I read this team on paper,
yeah,
a good manager should keep this team up. That's what I'm saying.
I just think we've got to be a little bit careful with, you know, a very dominant Liverpool side where he's been sparingly used coming into a Leeds side. If Leeds are playing deep and they're playing on the counter, I don't know. I can't give you a definitive answer on if Harvey Elliott's
we're not going to be able to get like
tackling.
a 25-year-old starter for a top 4 club. You know what I mean? Like, it's all going to be a risk. We're either asking somebody to take the step up from a lower profile club, or asking somebody who we've seen and says, hey, this person's really talented. They're not quite getting into, I don't know, the best team in the world. So maybe we pay money to bring them over here. I'm seeing a lot of people in the comments like, oh, Harvey Elliott's never coming to us. If we overpay for him, he will. Like, yeah, all things being equal, like a guy like Jack Grealish, and here I go with Jack Grealish again.
Ideal, you need someone as well who's going to be good on set pieces. I'm still hanging my hat on Hamer. I think Hamer fits the bill a lot better, to be honest. But it's the gloss of it. It's because he's played for Sheffield United. That's why
it's because I've watched both the guys. You really think that Gus Hamer is a better signing than Harvey Elliott?
For what we need, yes.
And by the way, I just want to be clear. This is me complimenting an England player. Because you always say that I hate all these English guys. You would really rather see Gus Hamer than Harvey Elliott in Leeds United white.
For Leeds United, for what we need, I think Hamer
with the team that we're bringing in right now, that we're building.
Why is Hamer a bad option? I don't understand. Why is he a bad option?
But if I'm giving you a binary between Harvey Elliott and Gus Hamer, I don't understand what about Gus Hamer says that you'd want him more than Harvey Elliott.
Well, I think Hamer's
fitness issues, injury issues.
I think
has he been that good?
I think that's been overblown a little bit. I'll be honest with you. The whole he can't stay fit. But if you actually look at his Premier League campaign for Sheffield United, he was decent. He's probably their best player. 10 goal contributions in a relegation threatened side. So the styles make fights. It's exactly what, if he's able to be performing for Leeds United against the odds, put, you know, decent balls into the area, play for a decent amount of time, be physical, be combative, which we know he is, be a good ball carrier, be up for the fight ultimately, which I'm not saying Harvey Elliott wouldn't be, but it's very untested. With Gus Hamer, it's tested, and just surround him with better players, which we will have than Sheffield United. I think there's less risk with that than what there would be with a completely untried and tested Harvey Elliott outside of Liverpool. So, yeah, and if we're paying 35, 40 million for someone like Harvey Elliott,
an easy place to play.
It'll be easier than Leeds United, I'm telling you.
You've got 150 million quid. You've got one of the richest ownership groups in the world, right? Who may buy another club, by the way, here stateside. And you're telling me that if we want to stay in the Premier League, we should go with a midfield of Tanaka, of Ampadu, and potentially Gus Hamer as our 10.
Don't think overall that would happen anyway. I think that they're evidently going for another midfielder, aren't they?
But we're getting all this in the chat as well. We're getting all this. Oh, they're not coming to Leeds. They're not coming to Leeds. Guys, you know what makes people come? Money. Money makes people come. That makes.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
Up.
Gary's made a good point here. He said Hamer's overweight, 28, and he's going to be more injury prone. Doesn't last more than 70 minutes. He's to be fair, just to back him up here, Gary, he has played around about 80 games in the last 2 seasons. You are right when you say the 70 minutes thing. The interesting thing about this is stats-wise, Sheffield United as a team was 17th when it came to the last 25 minutes of football matches last season, and we were very aware of that with what we managed to do. Leeds and Burnley were top 2. Leeds 1, Burnley 2. So that tells you a lot. Maybe it's something behind the scenes when it comes to the training schedule, routine, and rigorous sort of behind the scenes that Wilder was implementing, which is very different to his first stint at Sheffield when he was very up on that. So 17th when it came to the last 25 minutes. So I think that is a full breakdown when it comes to that team and probably the rotation as well. It wasn't just Hamer breaking down the last 70 minutes there, mate. So there's a bit of context there. So
if we're playing in a 4-2-3 and we sign Stock, do you really think Ampadu stays in the midfield?
Yeah, he's the captain.
If we sign Stock, he's our starting more holding style midfielder. Listen, I love your loyalty to this player that you truly love.
It's a really tough one. It's a really tough. I mean,
I don't think it's tough. I think Stock is clear. I have no idea what Farke is thinking. And to be honest, Farke's whole legacy is going to be defined by this season, whether he's just a championship manager for the rest of his career or a failed Bundesliga manager and somebody that absolutely couldn't crack it in the Premier League. So do you really think that he is going to risk his legacy and career and the ability to maybe take the next step in his career, be a strong Premier League manager on sentiment? On sentiment, I don't think so. But I think he'll look at the best guys and he'll play the best guys.
But what's the with Ampadu? Where's this whole notion? We've all known for £7 million getting Ethan Ampadu in the Championship. He's been
unbelievable,
and consistently he's barely played in his preferred position. He's played centre back. So how do we not know that? And look, and obviously you're talking about Stack and Ampadu, of course, in a comparison. But I guess
because if you sign Stack, you're signing him to play as your more holding player in a dual pivot if you're playing a 4-2-3-1. It'd
be nice just to elevate that competition, and I just hope that if the sales pitch looks Stack coming in 100%, you would.
Nobody's guaranteed anything in the Premier League, so you're right. So you would bring him in, and you wouldn't tell him he's guaranteed to start 100%. But neither is Ampadu. Neither is Ampadu. And I would bet that at the end of preseason training camp, because of just who the players are and who I think is better, Stock's your starting midfielder. 100%. 100%. I would be blown away if Stock comes in and he's not starting. I would say Ampadu's way better than I thought. That's what I'd say. And I like Ampadu. This is not me saying I think he's a bad player or that he's not Premier League ready or he's not able. I just think Stock is better. He's an upgrade.
I think, yeah, obviously, well, he's not a goal machine, is he, Stack as well? So when you're kind of looking at a 3 in the midfield, that'd be nice to see. And maybe someone like Tanaka could almost be at the peak of that 3. That'd be nice. He's a good ball carrier, isn't he, Stack? We're very, very aware of that. And that's something that maybe could be the fluctuation that Leeds have here. Maybe that's the change, the bit of pragmatism.
Changing a whole system, eh?
What's with 3 in midfield? It's not exactly. Yeah. You're not 4-2-3-1. You're not recreating the wheel, are you? It's not. Do you know what I mean?
No, and Farke has done it. I just think it's more likely that he sticks to the 4-2-3-1 and just upgrades certain positions. That's what I think.
Or maybe go to a 3 at the back and then just fall into.
Dan James was arguably our player of the season last year. Do you think he's our starting right winger when this about midway through the season next year?
I think Dan James serves a real purpose in the Premier League.
That's not what the question I asked, though. Do you think he's our starting right winger?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
do you?
No. I think if Willie Gnonto's half as good as people think he is, then he'll take that spot. And if not, he'll be sold. And that's better for the club.
Yeah.
Either one of those is a good situation for the club. That's what I'm saying. I like Joe Rodon, one of our best center halves. Well, I mean, one of our best. It was our best center half last season. Pascal Struijk, by no means a bad center half. Really, really good. We just bought, Jakob Biol. You think he's coming to sit on the bench? No, he's coming to push for a starting position. You don't just guarantee these guys. That's why people go on loan to the Championship or in a lower division. They don't go on loan to other Premier League teams unless they're good enough to just instantly become the starter. I just don't think that anybody can take. There are very few players in our entire side, I would say, should take for granted that they have a starting position. If you're going to stay in this league, you have to have.
I think Farke has some
sharkish mentality.
I get what you're saying when it comes to Farke. I understand he's not going to put his job on the line, but I still think under Daniel Farke, certain players start. I believe that. That's what I believe.
Who do you think is starting no matter what?
I think Rodon starts no matter what. I think Ampadu starts no matter what.
I don't know how you can say Ampadu if we buy stock.
Yeah, honestly, Ampadu, Bogle, and that's probably it. I'd go with that.
What if we brought in another right back? Do you think that doesn't make sense that we do that? By the way,
Gabe is trolling.
No, I'm not trolling.
I can tell you, he's not.
The only troll I'm saying is I'm trying to get Conor to answer if he truly thinks Anthony's better than Stock, and he just won't answer me.
I love his second comment. Never let Uncon again. Never let Uncon again. Is that where Gabe is? He's uncle status now. Oh, goodness. Look, I will sit here and answer your question. I think I've been pretty transparent with it. I don't think he drops. I don't think he drops Ampadu. I don't think he does.
That's not the question I asked.
You're telling me would I drop Ampadu?
No, I'm asking you who do you think is better?
Ampadu also, dude, it's
he's not going to do it. He's going to reframe it.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about two guys who play the same position,
not in the same level. We've not seen Ampadu in central midfield in the Premier League. He could take.
We've not seen Stock in it either. So all things being equal, they're in your training camp.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the better player?
Right now, Ampadu.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's not. Why? Why is it?
It's unbelievable.
It's not.
Stock is a better player.
It's really not unbelievable. Ampadu is.
And I think you know he is. I think you love Ethan Ampadu.
I can't profess. I like Anton Stack. I like him. I cannot profess to know absolutely everything about him right now. For me, when I
don't know absolutely everything about Ampadu right now. You've just said you don't know how well to do in the Premier League.
I know more about Ampadu than I do about Anton Stack. And what I do
can say that about every person on the team sheet who's played in the Championship for Leeds.
But can we also say that what if Anton Stack, and I've said this multiple times as well, by the way, that you want to go out to the European circuit and bring in players of which have got the attributes to fit into the Premier League, and I think someone like Anton Stack would do that. There is absolutely no way that we can just say right now that wouldn't happen with Ethan Ampadu. He's one of the outstanding centre midfielders in the Championship. He can't do much more. He's not even played in his natural position. So I don't know why, when we were talking about Ampadu being such a decent sign, I know what you're telling me. You're asking me a very just blatant question of, well, who's better? But there's more context to it than that, Gabe. There's a lot more context to it.
I think ultimately the better player should play. That's what I think.
Why is Anton Stack a better player right now than Ethan Ampadu?
He's better on the ball than Ethan Ampadu. His physical attributes are I think more impressive for a disruption central midfielder than Ethan Ampadu. I think everything that Ethan Ampadu does well, Stock does a little bit better. And I think there are things that Stock does well that Ethan Ampadu doesn't do particularly well. That's why.
Which are what?
Ball carrying, playing with the ball at his feet.
You don't think Ampadu's a good ball carrier?
I didn't say that. I said everything. I think Stock is better at carrying the ball than Ampadu. Also, name me a couple times where you've seen Ampadu have a successful ball carry. I guarantee he drives out from the I guarantee his progressive carries aren't particularly impressive.
Well, it's different, isn't it? Because he plays centre back all the time, so it's different.
No, that's what I'm saying. But you were saying he was an impressive ball carrier, and I'm saying, well, I don't think we'd seen it. And you're saying, well, he doesn't do it because he plays a different position. So how do we know? We don't.
Okay. Well, that's. I mean, we don't know any of this. It's all hypothetical.
This is now veering into we've had too many drinks at the pub. To be honest,
I need a strong coffee.
Yeah, let's get back on track to the original point. And to answer Sonny's point of me not being a supporter because I don't quote back our players. Funny thing is, you support the club, right? Players come and go, but you support the club. And wanting what's best for the club means wanting the best players in wearing the shirt, and not just going with guys who have been on the team before because you have a sentimental attachment to the player.
I think we can both agree. Sophie's bang on the money here. Neither are a patch on Rocker.